Thank you for tuning in. This is the Rice Crypto Show, and I'm your host, Rice. And on today's episode, I am joined by my friend and fellow content creator, KDubb, from the YouTube channel Crypto Zombie. Now, if this is your first time ever checking out any of my content, I do encourage you to explore my channel. If you already check out my content and you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Make sure you smash that like button, hit the notification bell, and we're just going to go ahead and get right into it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, today I'm joined by my friend and fellow content creator, and actually one of my favorite content creators, KDubb, also known as the Crypto Zombie. KDubb, man, thanks for coming on the show. How you doing today?
Thank you so much, man. I know this has been a long time coming. We've been trying to get this set up, so I am totally psyched to be on the channel. Thank you, man.
Yeah, no, and likewise, man, I appreciate you taking the time to do it. We got to meet in person in Las Vegas at World Crypto Con. I think it was actually the Litecoin Summit, but the whole week we spent some time drinking a little bit afterwards and spending a little time getting to know each other. So again, man, thanks for your time. The first question I like to ask my guests, and there's a lot of people who might be familiar with you and your YouTube channel, but do you mind giving us a little bit of a background on who you are and how you actually got involved in cryptocurrency?
Yeah, sure. It's not that sexy, to be honest. I don't have a developer background, nothing like that. I was a blue collar worker, worked for the family business for pretty much my whole life. And, I started doing some stuff on the side, started trying to do some, some side marketing just to make some extra money. And one of the guys that I was sort of doing this project with, he actually had paid a guy in Bitcoin. And I was like, what is this? And he's like, yeah, this is a currency. And I had heard about it in college, but totally sort of brushed it off. And so I bought some just for fun, literally just for fun. And I came back, and a couple weeks later, all of a sudden, like, I don't know, it was up like 20 or 30%. So that clearly sparked my interest. But then once I actually started doing the research on what Bitcoin was and what cryptocurrency and blockchain was, then it wasn't about the money. It just like blew my mind, and I couldn't sleep for like a week nonstop. And finally, when I had a break from my jobs, it was seasonal. I was like, man, I've been listening to all these crypto channels, but none of them are really like saying what I would want to hear as a newbie, like as a person just starting out. So I just basically made a channel, making content that I would want to hear. And here we are, like over 2 years later, man, I'm still doing it. So
yeah, and I think you just passed over 96,000 subscribers, so you're getting close to that 100,000 subscriber mark.
So close, man. I want to get that little check mark, the little.
So yeah, if you guys aren't subscribed to the Crypto Zombie, make sure you guys are subscribed. I'll have links down below so you can check that out as well. So I knew you tried when you first decided to do this YouTube channel thing, because you said you had a couple different channels that weren't very successful, and then you decided to start this channel and wanted to kind of give it from your perspective. When did you do that, and were you starting out doing just the news stuff, or what was your primary focus of videos when you first came out?
Actually, when I first came out, it's funny. I guess I would probably be one of those channels I might not kind of watch now, because I actually okay, it starts off with Bitcoin, right? And then you go on CoinMarketCap, you see all these different cryptocurrencies, and you instantly become one of those like, oh, Bitcoin is so outdated, it's slow technology. And it really just became the quest for me to just find just great new tech. I mean, I was just all these different things. I mean, I was, Neo blockchain, that was huge. I was all into that, learning about like DBFT consensus. And it was just so exciting for me it was a whole new world of technology. So my earlier videos were actually a lot of like, reviews, tutorials, explainer type videos and things like that. But I think after sort of the disappointment of a lot of these projects, the main nets would launch, and it was just really, you ever see that that meme of like the horse where it starts off really great, and then by the end it's like a 5-year-old drawing it?
Yeah.
And it just felt like a lot of these projects were over promising and under delivering. And it wasn't only just a letdown fundamentally, it was also a letdown financially, because I had invested in a lot of these. So that's why the channel kind of over time has shrunk into the topics I talk about. Now it's mostly just Bitcoin fundamentals and the occasional altcoin that I think might have value. It's not as much speculation as it used to be.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're focusing mainly on like news and a little bit of TA because you're
Mhm.
bringing on people like Jacob Canfield, Crown from Crown
Mhm.
Crypto Cave.
Well, TA's fun. People, they like to speculate on price. It's fun. It's not everything, but what are you going to do? People, that's what hooks them in. It's like what hooked me in. Had I not bought Bitcoin and saw the price of it gone up, I would have never taken the next step to even care about the tech. So it's the sad truth, but
Yeah, no,
it's
it
the
makes
reality.
sense. And I mean, but that's why I like your content. And like we were talking earlier, it's having certain people do certain things is awesome. And that's why I like me as a content creator. I'm trying not to do what other people do. So I catch a lot of my news through you and crypto's news.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge fan of both you guys. And so there's no point in me doing like daily news reviews. Every once in a while I'll talk about a news event, something very specific that I want to add my 2 cents to, or my 2 satoshis to. But for the most part, there's no reason for me to do what you're doing because you do it so well. I love what you and
Thanks, man. I
Omar are doing
appreciate it.
with your
But
news.
in all honesty, though, that is the thing. I actually like this. It's exciting for me. So I get a lot of people asking me, "How do you get up and make these videos every day?" I mean, of course, some days I maybe necessarily don't want to, but for the most part, I love just researching. And I figure, hey, if I'm going to be looking at these websites and I'm going to be reading this information anyway, why not just share it? I mean, it's something I really truly love. I mean, I don't think I'll ever get bored of reading about the advances of blockchain and what they're doing with the different, even just what they're doing with Bitcoin now with these different potential proposals that are coming out, adding, Schnorr, Taproot, all that. That's very exciting for me. So, yeah, I mean, I literally love what I do. And I think that comes across in the
That's
videos.
what I was about to say. I mean, you are very legit and genuine. You're not somebody who I can tell. The thing that I like to tell people is I'm in it for the change, not the change. And I feel like you're the same way. I mean, like for me to be able to be well off financially is kind of like the icing on the cake for me for this whole thing. And that's kind of how I feel connected with you ultimately, because I hear you talking about the technology, and yeah, you do TA talk, but you're not all about price.
No, I mean, I don't even give like calls on my channel or
Right.
anything. I mean, you never hear me go, "Oh, look, this is a great opportunity." I mean, I've given personal, like, I will buy if it goes here. But I mean, you see channels every day. You're just going to go mad trying to time these markets. I mean, dollar cost average, if you're looking to invest really, ultimately.
It's the way to go.
But yeah, I mean, but it is exciting because let's be real, like sometimes there's really nothing going on except for price.
Right.
So that is exciting. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, for me, I believe in the tech to the point where I think it'll go hand in hand. Like, I think by having that adoption, by having people realize the value of what Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are providing, I think that that'll just increase the monetary value anyway. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
not really that worried about it. And, I'm not really in a rush. I mean, like I said, I used to work for the family business, blue collar landscaping. Like, if this was all to go to zero, I have no problem waking up and going back to a job. I mean, and not to kind of get off that topic, but with the recent stuff with the whole Kobe Bryant thing, I think it really actually opened up a lot of people's, eyes to the reality of, life is super short, man. And everybody that's like chasing money and worried about the price up and down every day, even though I do talk about it, it's not the most important thing. I
It's
mean,
not
worst
healthy either.
no, hell no, bro. You can go get a job at McDonald's. I mean, there's literally opportunities to make money, especially here in the West, anywhere. So for me, it's more about the world. It's about the globe. It's about looking at these other places like we were talking about with, Venezuela, Colombia, and the real situations that they're facing. Yeah, I mean, plus like all these negative interest rates, Fed injecting stuff. I mean, it is happening here, but we're very good at hiding it in the US. We're very good at like sweeping it under the rug, kind of. But in these other
Yeah.
places, they're turning to crypto because of desperation, not because they're like trying to flip an altcoin.
No, I totally agree, man. And well, since you mentioned it too, like, so what do you see as some of the biggest obstacles with cryptocurrency going global and mainstream adoption? Like, what do you see?
Well, okay, cryptocurrency, like as a whole, I mean, well, let me start back with Bitcoin. Obviously, the volatility is what just throws people off. Okay, people they don't they don't understand. They don't like the concept of, getting online. And by the time I get to the front, something that was $3 is now going to cost me $4 because, I'm holding a cryptocurrency and the price fluctuated while I was standing online to get my drink or something like that. That is a problem, right? Now, we do have the things like stable coins, which are opening the doors. I mean, look at Tether. People say what they want about it. Tether's probably not backed by anything, but I mean, what is the dollar backed by? So it's just a belief system, essentially. But the biggest issues is really just the user experience. It's too complicated, and we think it's not because we do this every day, but it is. I have a cryptocurrency channel. My dad still has never bought crypto on his own. Shame on me. I should have forced him to, but like he doesn't. I don't know. I really did. I think it's just a big, it's just too big of an adoption curve. And that's why I really like what these guys, like we were talking about before the video, with like what they're doing with Twitter, with, Jack, the CEO. I love the idea of sort of bringing the Lightning Network to the masses, making a developer kit that anybody could use. Any mom and pop shop could kind of just hop on, set it up without having to worry about, doing, setting up a node and stuff like that. So
Right.
Personally, man, I still think it's user experience. I probably just rambled on for like way too long.
No,
but
no,
user experience, really.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
that was a great answer, man.
And also in the West, it's just incentive because, you could tell people you're going to lose 2 to 3% annually. They don't really care though. They don't understand the fact that like, oh, great. So I'm going to be able to sell my house in 30 years for twice its price, except that due to inflation, you're actually still down 33%.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of what I try to do on my channel, man, is like educate people about economics, how this system works, how like inflation is this other form of hidden taxation that we're just getting hit with on top of all this other stuff that they want to hit people with. And that's why I say taxation is theft. Now, do I believe that taxes can be paid and used in the right way? Yes. Can we get back down to like the state and local levels like our founding fathers wanted us to have one day in the system? That is possible. And if I knew where my tax dollars were going to actually improve the infrastructure of where I'm at and make where I'm at better, I would have no problem participating. But you have people like Ronald Reagan quoted saying, and other people, that all of the taxes that we pay are basically just going back to pay interest to the Federal Reserve, which is not even part of our government. They're using a name it's like the Federal Express. There's nothing
or funding wars or whatever. I mean, like I wish I had it. You're right. You know what? You're right. It would be a lot easier to pay taxes if like, when you sent it in, you could check a box and be like, well, you know what? This is what I want my taxes to go here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
or at least know where it's what their plan for the money is and how it's improving your area. We like looking at Colorado as a good example. I mean, this is completely off topic, but Colorado, when they legalized marijuana, and their tax system, they're actually able to give people money back. It's insane. The amount of money that came in, the way they were doing their state revenues and stuff, they were giving money back to people.
And it was that with the introduction with the legalization of marijuana? Is that
right.
tied? Yeah.
Right. But at the same time, all that money is being used also to pay teachers more, pay police officers and firefighters more, to improve the roads and the infrastructure of the state. And then they still have money left over to give people back. So, I mean, I think if we could get things like and that's a state level, if we could start getting things, take the power away from the federal government, because it's not supposed to be as powerful and big as it is, not based off the Constitution and what our founding fathers wanted. So,
I mean, the running joke about the Fed was like back, when phone books were like really popular before we had like cell phones. I mean, they're listed as a private organization. They're not even, it's not even public.
Well, they are. Yeah, they are a private organization. That's what I try to educate people about. So to get back on track.
Yeah, we could ramble.
Yeah, no, I mean, and maybe we can, do some more stuff where we loosen up and talk about stuff like this. But, I definitely wanted to kind of just get that other side of KDubb. People who watch your stuff, they hear you, talk about the news. Every once in a while, you'll mention some things going on with you, but this kind of gives people just a different perspective about you, and that's why I wanted to do this.
I got a lot of thoughts and opinions, so feel free, shoot
awesome.
anything you want my way, man.
So with cryptocurrency, is there for the year 2020, is there any projects, any cryptos that you're looking forward to or that you're big on, that you're bullish on?
For me, it really is about use case. It's not so much about speculation. So, as far as money, money, I mean, for me, it's Bitcoin. I think I've made that very clear by my videos. But then, beyond money, we do have these types of DeFi, like what you're seeing with Ethereum, which I think is really cool.
Mhm.
I do have my opinions on it, whereas it's not really decentralized. In fact, most of the DeFi is very centralized, but then again, you don't want to open Pandora's box without sort of making sure that there's no bugs. I mean, you don't want to just release something and it's just havoc and everyone's losing their money.
Right.
But so, I mean, I do like Ethereum, clearly. Other projects that I do like, I like Quant Network. I'm a fan of interoperability. I do believe if we're going to have all of these decentralized platforms attempting to speak to each other, they're not going to be able to unless they're all on the same network, which they're not going to be. That's why they're decentralized. So I do believe in things like that. Things like Chainlink, oracles. I like the idea, because they say smart contracts are not really smart. I mean, somebody still has to program them, right?
Right.
So then, how do you decide what the outcome is? Well, you need an oracle. If you want to have a smart contract react to something like, oh, if it's raining out, well, then close the blinds in the smart house, right? Well, if you want to do that decentralized, where is it going to get the information from? It has to get it from an oracle. Something has to put the information in. So I do like, projects like that. I'm trying to think outside of that. I'm sure
Chainlink is something that's on my radar. I have been trying to reach out to some of the people so I can do some interviews
Mhm.
and get a little bit more information. It's the best way for me to learn is talking to somebody at the companies and just doing an interview and
Yeah.
let people learn organically with me.
Actually, believe it or not, and I know this is going to be a little bit of a controversial project to mention, given what happened to I don't know what happened with it, but actually, I liked what Matic was doing, or what they are doing, and I know the price tanked. I mean, but sometimes the
I
price
don't.
doesn't reflect the tech.
It went up a
Uh,
lot too, though. So I mean,
yeah,
every time we see projects go up, they tend to at least retrace back down to
Yeah,
test
but
that
that was
support
crazy. I
resistance.
mean,
It
there's
was. It was.
something in the background happened, and I'm not saying it was or wasn't the team. I don't think it was. I've
I
met those guys.
interviewed I
Yeah,
interviewed Sandeep. I think he's a CTO. I can't remember exactly his position, but it was like maybe a week after that happened. So he kind of explains a little bit about it. I don't own any Matic, but
hmm
not financial advice. But right now is a good price opportunity where they're at if you do believe in their technology. And
hmm
I the kind of
Well,
being a
I'm just
layer
bullish.
two solution for
I,
Ethereum, it
I'm bullish
works.
on stuff like that because let's be honest, one of the things I try to say on my channel is people, okay, this is what I want to say this on your channel before we go, because one of the
Yeah.
things that bothers me is and I hate to say the ignorance, but it is, you're comparing apples to oranges. There's so many people that are like, oh, well, Bitcoin can't scale to Visa transaction level. It's like, guys, they are nothing alike. You're talking about a totally centralized, essentially IOU system where we're just basically taking a snapshot of a bank account and then giving a thumbs up to the merchant. That's nothing like Bitcoin. When I
Right.
send you Bitcoin and you receive that Bitcoin, that is the Bitcoin. It's not an IOU. It's not we're going to batch it out tomorrow. No, that's the Bitcoin. Okay. So, try sending, like I said in my video, before, a bar of gold across the world in under 10 minutes for the cost of sending Bitcoin. People complain. Okay, try to send a bar of gold in under 10 minutes to somebody from here to the UK. You can't.
Right.
It's impossible. You can't even do it. So stop comparing base layers to third, fourth, fifth layers. I mean, literally, you have gold, then you have certificate paper that used to back the gold, then you have credit cards that you can use to spend the cash in the bank. Then you have apps like PayPal and Venmo that are linked to the credit cards. Come on, man. You're talking layer 5, 6, 7 here. Stop
Right.
comparing that to the base layer. Okay, you want your foundation to be strong. I'm glad that it takes full finality of every node to have consensus. I'm glad because you know why? That actually is what gives it value. That's where the value comes from. So rant over, but
No,
stop
well said,
comparing Visa
man.
to Bitcoin. They're
Well,
not the
I mean,
same.
well
Like,
said. And I couldn't have said it any better.
all right, that just pisses me off, man. That's like the worst argument ever. Like,
It definitely is. It definitely is. And I mean, uh, we're gonna see these technologies advance in ways that we're not even thinking of yet. So I mean, we're just at the very beginning, which is
I
it's a
believe it. Tip of the iceberg.
it's a beautiful place to be, in my opinion. So I guess before we wrap things up, man, was there anything else that you wanted to talk about or anything like that before we end this thing?
Um, I don't like, I mean, I guess this is more of, I mean, I don't know the primary like audience necessarily of your channel. You do seem like it's a little alternative, style, but I mean, I think your viewers probably have a different approach to things, but all I would basically say is, um, just basically don't go nuts over price, don't freak in, don't chase, things. I mean, the best thing is just dollar cost averaging, not financial advice. If you truly believe in something, then there's no need to rush into it. There's no, you know what I'm saying? I just see some people like, they're trying to like essentially gamble away the rent money in crypto. It's just madness. Like there's no need to do that.
Do you really quickly want to tell people what dollar cost averaging actually is?
Yeah, it's just basically putting away a small portion that you can afford, that you could afford to lose if you lost it forever. For me, I mean, I lean kind of around 10%, but maybe some of you are more risk adverse. And just every week, you buy some high, you buy some low. Maybe you buy Bitcoin at 8, 7, 6, 10. You just ladder yourself in, you sleep better at night. And I mean, for me, that was my go-to strategy. I had to stop. I couldn't sleep at night, man. Like seriously trying to like catch all the dips, and
Right.
it's just madness. Like, dude, if you believe in the tech, which I think you do, you have a crypto channel, and I assume most of your viewers do, there's no reason to worry about this. I mean, look, it either is or it isn't. And if it fails, big deal. You still have your health, you still have your family. It's just money. You can always get more money. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and like you said too, like the dollar cost average thing is actually a really good way of going. If you're buying X, if you choose that I want to buy X amount of Bitcoin or whatever cryptocurrency on a weekly, bi-weekly, monthly basis at whatever the price, what you're doing is you're reducing that volatility. So all those different price jumps that are going up and down aren't affecting you as much because you're buying in different levels to average in the price that you're actually buying at, if you want to like find that center point.
There's a website. I think it's dcabtc.com.
I'll have links down for it below. I'm not sure if that's it, but I'll definitely have
it's fine. You know what I'm talking about? It's like dcabtc.com.
Where you can do a calculator and basically calculate if you decide you're going to do $10 a week or $15 every 2 weeks or whatever you can afford as an individual. It'll
and the crazy thing is what most people don't realize is they always compare it to the highs, right? They always go like, oh, well, what was that?
I don't know. What was that?
I don't know. I just heard a crazy noise. Did you hear that?
No, but that's.
I heard a really weird noise in my headphone. Anyway, so a lot of people they always talk about the highs, like, oh, well, it was at 20K. It's like, dude, like we stayed above 16K or 15K. I think it was for like 3 weeks. So what's interesting is even if, and you could do this, I've done this on my channel, even if you had started dollar cost averaging, you bought at the alt, you bought at 20K.
Right.
And you put in whatever, $100 a week, whatever you can afford, and you did it every week consistently, you would still be up. I did it like a couple weeks ago on the channel, and people don't realize that. They don't realize the big picture. It's always about like, the fast gains and stuff like that. So yeah, dollar cost average. I know your channel doesn't focus as much on price, but it is a serious thing.
Well, but I mean, I do talk about, dollar cost averaging. I do talk about economics. I don't focus on trade and price talk specifically, but these are things that I think that people should have been taught that we weren't taught. I mean, like I didn't know anything about this stuff in high school, but
they don't
it would
teach
have
you
been
that.
nice.
They don't teach you that in school. They teach you just how to be an obedient worker.
Right.
Raise your hand. Like what is? I don't.
That's dude, you sound like an anarchist, man.
I might be. I don't know. I'm not gonna.
You might be.
Well, I have a lot of. I do relate to them. They have a lot of good points. Libertarians. I do agree with a lot of things that those groups say. So for sure.
Well, that's cool. It's good to know that. Well, dude, I always appreciate it, man. Like I said to everybody, I want to have links down below. So if you're not familiar with the Crypto Zombie, make sure you're checking out his YouTube channel. KDubb puts out some really good content, great news content. Like I said, links will be down below. If this is your first time ever checking out any of my videos, I do encourage you to explore my channel. If you like what I'm doing, you can support me by subscribing, liking, commenting, and sharing. And as always, I encourage everybody to be the change by practicing change. And I love you all. Thank you for watching all the way through to the very end. Now, if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? And be sure to hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with my current content as it comes out. I do got to give a shout out to this month's Rice Crypto Show sponsors, who make it possible for me to create content. Monarch, Presearch, and BlockFinX, which is a new exchange that's going to be launching soon. Going to have links down below so you can check out my sponsors. And again, much love.